Alright, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Since I do think altcoin season is about to start, I wanted to go over some of my favorite altcoin picks of this cycle and rank them in a way I haven't really seen anybody else on YouTube do it. So it'll be in no particular order of like best to worst, but I'm going to sort them all by narrative, and within each narrative I will be giving a star rating, like 1 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars for most fundamentals you can have within a cryptocurrency, such as like community, tokenomics, that sort of thing. So we will be covering that very shortly here. Real quickly, before we do that, I did just want to cover the Bitcoin price action, because that's what I normally do here on the channel, and we got some real interesting stuff here on the charts. If you remember in my last video, we were talking about these Binance buy walls, like $1 billion worth of buy walls, and that's what you're looking at right now. The pink walls are the biggest buy walls, around 1,000 Bitcoin, and then the darker they get, the more green, blue is the smaller buy walls. And what we saw happen with these walls was actually pretty insane, pretty magnificent to see. So what's so crazy about what happened with these walls, right? Well, let's jump in here to where I left off in my last video. It was right around this area here, right? We were talking about how there were some new buy walls being limited in here. So what you saw happen here is when price came down to this first wall, it instantly bounced off of it, showing that there was no continuation to the downside, right? The market's not truly bearish at this level. And after this happened, all your walls down below started to realize this. You can see if we scroll down a little bit, like right here, you have this 1,500 Bitcoin wall. That's like a $100 million position. He took it out of the order books because he knows price isn't going to get down there. Same with the 750 Bitcoin wall. They're taking them out of the order books right on this bounce of that other wall and adding to his secondary walls. You can see after this bounce, people are adding to this position now, hoping that price will come back and grab them. Price does not, though. Price continues on up. And as price continues up, you see the walls continue up. We can see we have a new batch of orders here. Another like 1,500 Bitcoin, right? Like $100 million wall here being pushed up. Does not get filled. These people are sending price higher. Now, could this be spoof orders? Definitely possible, but I don't think so. I think these are legitimately buyers just trying to fill their orders. Like these walls up here could have been from this order down here, right? This was like 1,000 Bitcoin wall. Went ahead, disappeared right when this new order was put in place. So I can bet you that this guy moved his positions up here because he's trying to FOMO. He knows price isn't going to come down to his order. So I think there's a very good chance that was the low. And with all of this buying pressure, we have gone ahead and cleared above the $59,000 level that I was talking about we needed to do within a weekly close. You can see we're pretty much there. So, so far, so good. And not only that, if we look at the DXY is continuing to the downside, and that's what you want to see for Bitcoin. Not only this, but we go over to the S&P, and you can see we have broken back in to this bearish pattern that we had before, right? We had broken out to the downside, bearishly backtested it a couple times. I was expecting to get back in this pattern though, and we have gone ahead and done that. So now we have clear skies ahead when it comes to the S&P, and Bitcoin will of course follow the stock market. So that's also really good to see. Let's get to these altcoins. Let's get to these gems. What should you be accumulating if altcoin season is about to start? And to do that, I'm going to be ranking it by narratives. We have layer 1s, layer 2s, gaming, AI, memes, real world assets, and entertainment. And just to preface this, I'm not going to be going in depth on the fundamentals on each of these coins. This is going to be a brief overview, giving it a quick rating. So do not buy something purely on this video. If you do think something looks interesting or want to research all of these coins yourselves, I do implore you to do so. Always do your own research because altcoins are extremely risk-on assets and there is no guarantee that you will make money from them. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to sort it by the narrative that they're in, as well as within each narrative, I'm going to sort it by the market cap. So starting off with the larger market cap coins and then moving on to your low cap gems. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get this started here with the first narrative, which is going to be layer 1s within CMC. Now you can see I picked Caspa for the best high cap layer 1 you can be buying right now. It is not listed on tier 1 exchanges yet, but with the volume that it has on all of your tier 2 and tier 3 exchanges, I almost guarantee you within this bull market you will see that Binance listing, you will see that Coinbase listing, and the general public finds out about the fundamentals of this coin. It could explode because it has the potential to be like your next Bitcoin, your next Ethereum. What they're doing is pretty revolutionary. But like I said, we're not going to get too deep into fundamentals. Let's give it star ratings by category. So the first category we have is tokenomics. This is the supply distribution, inflation, dilution, that sort of thing. As we can see here on the left, as you can see over here on the left, I guess first of all, I should have mentioned this. This is a $2.5 billion market cap coin. So, starting off the higher market cap coins, but it still has a lot of upside potential. I could see an easy 10x out of this going forward. But regarding tokenomics, you will see the circulating supply right here is 23 billion Caspa, whereas the max supply is 28 billion Caspa. So the inflation rate on this thing is not too bad at all. This is being released on a de-exponential curve, right? So as time goes on, the dilution within the chain decreases. There's a lot of coins with similar tokenomics just on the dilution, the inflation of it. So nothing too crazy there, but it's not bad whatsoever. Where this thing does shine when it comes to tokenomics, though, is there was no pre-allocations. There was no VCs, venture capitalists. Caspa was 100% fair launch. They started off mining on CPUs and then inevitably went up to ASICs miners. So miners don't have a large amount of supply, and exchanges that want to list it have to buy their coins legitimately. They are not giving any exchanges pre-allocations. Overall, Caspa gets a 4 out of 5 stars when it comes to tokenomics. Next category is utility. What does this project provide? Why should I be investing in it? And this is really where Caspa shines. It is fundamentally the best cryptocurrency to ever exist, in my opinion, just based on what crypto was designed for, what Bitcoin was designed for, right? They're supposed to be proof of work, tradable assets that you can use as a commodity, right? This kind of solves the trilemma of crypto, which would be security, scalability, and decentralization. Proof of work, decentralized, scalable. It's one of the fastest blockchains to ever exist, and they're continually developing that, making it extremely scalable. The only thing that it does not have when it comes to the scalability of it is it doesn't have smart contracts yet. So you can't really build on Caspa. There have been Caspa forks, right? But since you can't build on it quite yet, right? They are in development, so they're going to be adding this in the future. But just because of that, that's the only knock I can give it as of right now. And then security, it is extremely secure. It has the same security as Bitcoin. It will revert to like the SHA-256 algorithm of Bitcoin if someone were to try to hack into it. So it's extremely, extremely secure, and that's where it wins out against a lot of these other good layer ones. So fundamentally, this coin is amazing. The only reason it's not getting 5 stars is just because they don't have smart contracts yet. You can't really build on their chain yet. So it's going to get a 4 out of 5 stars when it does come to utility. Next up is novelty. What does this chain do differently than all the other chains? And this is another category where Caspa excels. There is nothing else like it. The Ghost Egg protocol is a one of a kind. Caspa gets 5 out of 5 stars for novelty. Community is up next. How many people swear by this coin, right? How big is the community? How influential are they? Well, the Caspa community is massive. They're kind of egotistical at times because they think their coin is the best thing since sliced bread, which I'll give it to them. It kind of is, right? I'm kind of in the Caspa community. It is a great, great project. You cannot knock it. So yeah, the community is definitely present. You'll see them everywhere on YouTube and that sort of thing. There is a lot of people that love Caspa, and it has a massive community that I think will only grow once you get those tier 1 exchange listings and more people understand what it is as a project. So when it comes to community, I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is the team. Is the team doxed? How much development is going on behind this chain, right? How many people are on the team? And when it comes to Caspa, they do really good in this category as well. They have a doxed team that is continually developing. They're extremely passionate They're extremely passionate about the work. They're always expanding their team. So when it comes to the team category, Caspa is doing really good. I'm going to give them another 4 out of 5 stars here. Alright, so that's the first coin in the layer 1 category. Again, $2.5 billion market cap. It has good upside potential with a lower risk for this narrative. Let's go ahead and move on to that next layer 1, which is going to be Alephium. ALF is the ticker. This is a layer 1 that's also performed very, very well this cycle. It has already done over 1,000% this cycle, yet is still a much smaller market cap than Caspa, sitting at $171 million. So if this chain were to go mainstream, get listed on all the tier 1s, you could be seeing a potential 100x from current price. That's just theoretical though. I would say more likely you're looking to potentially get a 10 to 30x this cycle if we do in fact have another big altcoin season. So let's get into it. Let's rank it by these categories. So tokenomics, we can see here on the left, we have circulating supply is 77 million, whereas total supply is 200 million. It's definitely not too bad, but just because it's more than Caspa, it's more than some other coins, it's going to get a 3 out of 5 stars when it comes to tokenomics. Next up is utility. So when it comes to utility, they are similar to Caspa, but they're a little bit less secure, while being at the current moment a little bit more scalable because they do implement smart contracts. Because they're EVM compatible, you can see they have an Ethereum smart contract down here at the bottom left, so I'm pretty sure you can build on a Lithium right now. So while it's not as advanced as Caspa by any means, it does have a lot of utility in the current state, and I think that's why it's done so well this cycle. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars when it comes to utility. Next is going to be novelty. How many other chains do what they're doing? And there are some, right? It's not like Caspa where it's a one of a kind. So while it does have a really good utility, when it comes to novelty, it's not quite as good. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars in that category. Next up, let's talk about the community. And the community here is somewhat lacking, right? When it comes to this cycle, the layer 1 that has the biggest community is without a doubt Caspa. But, taking Caspa out of the equation, compared to the other L1s this cycle, Lithium does actually have a really good community. It's just nothing compared to some other coins. So, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 stars when it comes to the community there. Not knocking it for that. I don't think this is really that big of a deal, but yeah, that's that. Let's go on to the next category. That's the team. Is the team doxed? Yes, they are doxed. They are a pretty good team. They are continually developing. I don't know too much about the team, I'm gonna be honest, but I do know they're really good. Of course, go research this stuff yourself. But yeah, the fact that they're doxed, the fact that they're always developing, I don't have like developer reports on them or anything like that, but I'm gonna give them a 3 out of 5 stars on the team there. So all in all, a Lithium, very good coin. It's one of my top picks. Again, everything on this list, right, everything I'm going to be ranking today is something I own, something I like. Nothing on here is going to be a bad project. So yeah, I really do like Lithium. Go ahead, research them. Figure out if you do want to own some yourself. Next up, we got another layer 1. This is going to be Tectum. Tectum emission token, TET is the ticker. They are sitting at right around the same market cap as a Lithium, $125 million. I think it has the same potential upside. 10 to 30x shouldn't be too hard for it to pull off this cycle. So yeah, let's jump right into the tokenomics here. As you can see, the circulating supply is 7.35 million. Total supply is 10 million. Really good dilution when it comes to circulating versus total supply. So really good when it comes to that. I will say though, they did have a pre-sale on ICO drops. This is an ICO token. When the ICO launched though, price did dump. There was an initial sell-off and then it rallied. So a lot of those ICO investors are kind of out of the project. It wasn't something where you had a ton of VCs involved, right? I was there for the pre-sale. It was mainly just, guys that are interested in crypto buying. They were on Twitter Spaces every day trying to just talk about their project and get new investors. So while you do have some seed investors and that sort of thing, they are pretty based. I don't think you're going to have a large amount of venture capitalists dumping on you. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars when it comes to tokenomics. So utility, what this project does is essentially implement a soft note wallet, which are essentially wallets for any tokenized asset that are pretty interesting. I probably can't explain it too well to you here, so that's why I recommend, going to do your own research. But what they're doing is very interesting. They have talked about how you could tokenize an asset like gold using the Tectum blockchain. It's a pretty cool utility there, although it's nothing too crazy, right? I don't know how much it's really going to get adopted, how much we really need their utility. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5 stars, though. I think the utility is pretty cool. And when it comes to novelty, this is our next category. There is nothing else that does what they do, right? The soft note system. Not that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments below. But it is a very novel project. But it is still, an EVM chain, so I don't think it would be the hardest thing in the world to develop. I don't think it's that revolutionary when compared to something like Caspa that was in development for 13 years. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll give them a 4 out of 5 stars when it comes to novelty. It is pretty unique. Next up is the community. This coin does have a pretty large community. The fact that it is a very novel chain. Again, it's nothing like the Caspa community, but when it comes to community, I think they're very good. It's kind of similar to a Lithium, right? Just due to its market cap, not a lot of people know about them quite yet. They do have a lot of diehard supporters of the chain, right? A lot of people swear by them. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them a 3 out of 5 stars when it comes to the community there. Really nothing too bad to say about that. And when it comes to the team, I really do like this team. They're constantly developing. They're always being active with the community. I'm going to go ahead and give them a 4 out of 5 stars on the team just for being so active with the community. The CEOs, developers are always on the X spaces. So really cool to see the team is always involved on this coin. So that's Tectum. Next up, we got Radiant RXD. This is another layer 1, and we are now getting into the small market caps. This is at $16.5 million market cap, so very high risk, very high reward play here. It did just get a MEXC listing, but not too many other exchanges have it listing. Not too many people know about this coin, but it is still a really good layer 1 in my opinion. Let's jump into these categories here. So tokenomics, Radiant was another fair launch project. The circulating supply is 10 billion, total supply is 21 billion. I'm pretty sure the unlock ratio is very similar to all the other layer 1s that we've talked about. Not too bad. And the only downside to this when it comes to tokenomics is I think the miners do hold a large amount of the supply. Nothing too crazy, but just because of that, it's not going to get, a 4 or 5 stars. I'm just going to give it a 3 out of 5 star ranking for tokenomics there. Let's jump in here to its utility. What does it do that's so great? Well, it's essentially an extremely fast blockchain. It's one of the fastest blockchains there is, as well as it is pretty scalable, I do believe. They have smart contracts, so very similar to a Lithium and the utility side of things. So all in all, I think it does offer utility that people have a need for, and it does so very well, especially considering the market cap. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give utility there a 3 out of 5 stars. When it comes to novelty, is this a super novel chain? Not really. It's forked off of Bitcoin Cash, which we already have stuff similar to that like Syscoin. So it's not extremely unique, but as far as, 2023 coins or 2024, like new coins of the year, there's not too many proof of works. So it is fairly novel when it comes to recent coins. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5 stars in this category. So community, it does have a very vibrant community, especially considering the market cap. I would say the community is nearly as big as something like Lithium or Tectum, but you have 10 times smaller market cap. So yeah, you do have a lot of tried and true supporters. There's a lot of people that swear by Radiant. I'm going to give the community a solid 4 out of 5 stars considering the market cap. Now the team. The team is the worst part about this coin. They do not have a docs team. They are going to get a 1 out of 5 stars when it comes to the team. That is the one thing I do not like about this coin. But is it the end of the world? No. Bitcoin never had a docs developer, right? No one knows who Satoshi is. So it's not the end of the world that they don't have a docs team, but they just cannot get any higher than a 1 out of 5 stars there. But all in all, if you do want a coin with, a real potential to do a 100x here, I own quite a bit of Radiant actually, just because I'm not a very risk adverse person and I'm looking to get those big gains. So yeah, price targets on this thing are anywhere really from 10 to 100x is pretty realistic on Radiant here. And wrapping up there, that is going to be it for the layer 1s. And I just realized I've been recording for quite some time. So instead of dragging this video on, I will make this a multi-part series. In the next video, you can expect some of the other narratives that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that next video where I do cover more altcoin gems. I also have a Discord, links in the description down below if you do want to ask me about any of these coins. So make sure to go join that. It is completely free. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video.